Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and happy day after Thanksgiving. I am Kevin Jackson, your co-host here of In the Pigpen, and our co-hostess with the mostest, Mr. Steve Roper. Steve, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, hello. Happy day after Turkey Day. How are you?
I'm doing good as you're trying to see yourself on the live, but you'll have to mute yourself there.
Well, I'm sharing this link. I'm sharing this link, and I'm going to cut it off now after I've shared it so we don't get that double feed. But welcome in, everybody. Like I said, a Friday night, day after Thanksgiving. And hey, Kevin, everybody in the state of South Carolina has been waiting on this weekend for I don't know how long, maybe some more than others, vice versa. Either way you want to go. I am supporting and, the colors tonight, but I'm up in arms about this one. We'll talk about the Clemson Carolina rivalry in just a little while, but let's talk about some high school action out in our area tonight. There were some upper state championship games that just finished up a while ago, and I think you've got some information on those. Because, like I say, we've spent we've had 2 weeks off, I think, but prior to that, all through August, all the way up through November, on a Friday night, we were at a ball game somewhere broadcasting, for the team that we do. So
that's right. We've got hopefully a lot to unpack regarding Clemson, South Carolina, and a high school, and whatever else we can make up here in the next 30 minutes to an hour. We're hoping to have a lot of fun, and to hope you will too. Hope you'll be somewhat entertained on this Friday night. We know you're
call it Pigpen for nothing. I can come up with something back there.
Yes, Mr. Steve Roper does have the gift for gab. But Steve, I trust you had a good Thanksgiving. I did too.
I am full of turkey. I know other people thought I'm full of something else, but believe me, it's turkey and ham and deviled eggs. And it was just a buffet. It was just a buffet. And
a little late.
I won't say
on the sound effects.
I didn't know. We didn't know if we were going to do that. I looked through the banks here, but I did not know if I was going to get a buffet or actually I didn't know who I was going to mooch off of. So luckily my daughter called with the grandchildren, and I went over and had a good meal with my oldest daughter and the grandchildren.
Yeah,
and some other folks who don't want to be mentioned. So I won't mention.
Our Thanksgiving Day plans are always breakfast with my parents. My wife cooked some breakfast. We had some sausage and bacon and eggs and grits with some gravy and all about.
Is your mother tuning in tonight?
She might. If I guarantee
she might.
Hey,
Miss Joan, happy birthday.
That's right.
I just wanted to let you know that earlier today, Kevin had texted me when we were planning this a little bit in its early stages, and he says, Mom's still here. I can't get this set up till Mom leaves. When is she going to leave? What did I text you and tell her? Tell her to pack her grip. Hit the road.
Hit the road.
There. Yeah, get up the road, Mom. No, we're joking with you.
Yeah, that's right.
Kevin loves you very much. And I do too. I've met you 2 or 3 times, and you're a wonderful woman from Pickens County. And that's what I like about you most, honey.
That's right.
That Pickens County blood in us.
Evening time, it turns into the traditional Thanksgiving meal, and we're over at my in-laws' house. And trust me when I say there's enough food there to feed all of Greer twice, and plenty of dessert and all that, and stuffed again today, taking Mom out for her birthday meal. So I'm well fed the last 2 days and ready to chew on some fun here on Friday night.
Look at you. I don't want to go there. Well fed for 2 days.
Yeah, I could hibernate for the winter and still be all right. But we trust everyone else.
I'm a side of beef myself, son.
That's right. Well, we trusted everyone else out there had a good Thanksgiving. But even if you think you didn't, you had to have a better Thanksgiving Day than this individual did in 1979. I got a little quick video for comic relief, even though we'll provide plenty tonight. But on 1979, Macy's Day Parade, Ed McMahon commentating. Santa had never gotten off the sleigh as he does every year. You see it every year. Pulls up in front of Macy's. That's the start of the Christmas holiday season. It had been 1979. They planned for the first time for Santa Claus.
For God's sake, roll the tape.
Here you go, folks.
Taking with him. And for the first time, Santa's going to march right in the front door of Macy's. Look at that. There he goes. Oh, Santa lost his trousers there for a minute. I think Santa's going to retire this year. If you want to get something for Santa for Christmas, get him a belt.
Get Santa Claus a belt.
Embarrassing for sure.
Santa Claus moons Macy's is what the New York Post probably read the next day.
And
some
I think
post boy, postal kid, post boy out, newspaper boy, extra, read all about it. Santa moons Macy Day Parade.
My dad had told me that was true, and I'd read it somewhere for a long time, but never believed that was actually true until I finally found the video.
That's what I like about you, son. There is absolutely nothing that you can't Google and find. I've noticed that about
I've been looking at it for years too, and it finally.
I'm glad you hitched your wagon to my star. You know what I mean? I mean, to my star, vice versa, whatever. Because there is nothing that this kid can't find out or do when it comes to computer wizardy. Now, I'm in the Pigpen studios here off the Asheville Highway in Emmett. Kevin is in the pigsty over in Greer.
There you go.
And he is
literally
in Greer, less than a mile from Greer High School, right?
Yeah, less.
I mean, you can smell them out back when you go out your back door.
Depending on who we offend on this podcast, don't give them my exact location, but go ahead.
Well, if the wind blows just right, you can smell tiger poo from the other direction. So you got Yellow Jackets to your right and tiger poo to your left, So you're just right there in the middle. You're just right there in the middle. Well, I didn't say anything about Greer or Blue Ridge. I mean, either one of those two. I just, you're right there in the middle of them.
I'm married to Yellow Jackets, so I have to take sides on that one. So, but let's move to some high school Friday night scores. The one that most affects the teams that we covered all year, which was Landrum 2A Upperstate, Gray Collegiate. It was a tight game to about midway through the third quarter. Finally, Gray wearing down Abbeville 27-12.
Yeah, 27-12. Yeah.
27-12. Apparently, neither team has a kicker. They all had to go for two every time and missed every field goal they took. But apparently,
they've got every kind of athlete that you can think of on these teams that are always there in the state championship run, but yet they can't find a kicker. That was a dilemma that one of our rivals had earlier in the year. And why don't they just call over yonder? And they found a kicker over the weekend. We'll talk about that later with the Clemson people.
Hey, I do want to show off some of the features that we can do on this podcast here. We'll show this comment from someone who's going to call in for a little bit later. Elton Chapman, I think, referring to the Santa Claus with the pants falling and stuff. He says, I did that too one time also. So Elton will be joining us in a little while to talk. He'll be the Clemson side of our USC and Gamecock discussion. We also have another Tiger faithful that will be messaging in at some point.
We welcome them. I just want everybody to know it's all civil. It's all in fun. And actually, I'll explain myself later, because I think it'd be okay. I think you'll like it. So back with some more interesting high school results, Kevin, if you've got it.
Yeah, looking for a few here.
Call up Harold.
Yeah, Harold. Harold, are you doing your job? I think this is probably 3A Lowerstate. Camden victorious over Brooklyn Casey, 46-30.
They ran over them.
Yeah, 5A Lowerstate White Knoll victorious 21-14 over Somerville. Let's see. Click on this. I'm looking here on X, or it used to be Twitter. Let's see. Final score, I believe it was Dutch Fork was behind, but pulled it off 31-30 over JL Man.
Woo, slipped by.
5A Upperstate. There were some injuries at the quarterback position for Dutch Fork in the game. They had to put in a kid that was hurt previous in the playoffs, but well enough, I guess, to play tonight, and he sparked to come back. So I know that Christchurch was victorious by a good margin. Let me find Jed's page here. Jed Blackwell's page here. He was covering that game. It was Christchurch by a good margin by the end of it. Yeah, 35 minutes ago.
Jed Blackwell apprenticed it under me.
Taught him everything he knows. What you told
everything. Boy, couldn't hold a pencil. Couldn't pick up a pencil until he met me. And I said, Jed, someday you're going to be a great writer.
Here's Justin, who will be joining us in a little while, and he'll be talking the Clemson side, but he's got some things on our, like we said, Dutch Fork kicked a 39-yard field goal with 2.4 seconds left to beat JL Man in the 5A Upperstate.
Wait a minute. Hold it. You know where this is going, don't you, Kevin?
Vocal effect on
this. Read that in voice. That is our man. Read it. You can do it, or I can do it, because we both can do it.
I have to get into my acting zone.
Huh? Okay,
you go ahead and do it. I think you've inspired the whole gimmick.
Dutch Fork kicked a 39-yard field goal with 2.4 seconds left to beat JL Man in the 5A Upperstate Championship game. The Silver Foxes will face White Knoll for the state title next week in Orangeburg. So who's going to toe the slab?
Yeah. Who's going to put the leather?
That's a good distance. Orangeburg, that's a good distance to travel all the way down I-26 to make the hour and 45-minute drive.
Yeah, like we talked, St. Joseph was
good old St. Joe.
As Christchurch was up on St. Joseph 53-20 with about a minute to play. That was 30 minutes ago, so it's probably a final there. 53-20 Christchurch over St. Joseph. We saw 3 teams that made it deep in the playoffs this year at 2 respective levels, and we saw St. Joseph. We went over there, sat on the 10-yard line, and got bit by their fire ants. And
yep, I'm still got the scars for that one.
Yeah, so
I like that. What Justin, I'm going back, even I was poking at him a little bit, because we do love the kid, but the 39-yard field goal with 2.4 seconds to beat JL Man. Boy, JL Man had to be heartbroken, but you know what? I don't care. And here's the reason. JL Man, I had the bad end of them in 1979 over there, so never been a fan since then. So congratulations.
I would assume tonight, looking up their score, that on the 2A level, Oceanside Collegiate victorious over Hampton County 42-21. So Gray and Oceanside will meet at the 2A championship.
I don't think the people like that.
And they won't, as next year they probably neither one of them will be in the 2A championship game. They'll be in whatever level they're on.
Do we want to carry in just a little bit on this little topic? Because we can skate the ice a little bit. I mean, it's been public knowledge. I mean, the high school league has been out there releasing all the information, all the transcripts, and all the videos, whatever you want to call it. We know what's been going on in the courts with them about the private schools. If charter schools, private schools, whatever, what is it they want to be called, Kevin?
Charter
I don't
public,
know.
Charter public, or private. Okay.
And we're not going to knock on them one bit. That's where you want to send a child. Wonderful. They'll get a quality education. The only problem that I have as a fan of public high school football teams and such as this. You have a cap in your district of how many children that you can accept at your, let's say at your charter school, you've got 260 seats to fill. Well, we have in the public school X number amount of seats depending on how many kids reside within that zone. Could be 600, could be 200, could be 150, could be 1,000.
Yeah.
So we have to take from that.
Well, the argument has been, especially with teams like Oceanside, and Oceanside resides in the Mount Pleasant area, which has a population of like 70,000 or something. But yet they're playing schools that have kids with less than 1,000 students. And Gray is in the attendance zone for Lexington, which is a 5A school. Yet they have the potential within a small radius there to draw tens of thousands of kids, but yet they cap it at 600, whatever they're at. I think they're a little less than that, but they still cap it on to what a 2A level would be.
Okay. I knew you could explain that. I mean, my deal is with the, what I'm saying is they have 230 seats, say, to fill in a school. How many of those 230 seats are going for academic or whatever? But you've winning football games and winning titles in basketball and other things with 30 players that you basically got to choose to accept if they applied for your school. But you get to choose them's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and in theory, it's supposed to be a lottery. They're supposed to all apply for a lottery, but if the lottery odds for the charter school admissions were as good as Powerball, we'd all be billionaires. So,
well, the structure of a day in one of those schools is different to how many hours are spent. Say, I don't know. I'm just asking. How many hours a day? How many hours a day are spent actually doing classroom work, and then how many days are actually spent doing athletics?
Honestly, I'm not. I mean, what we've always heard is they spend about a half day in their classroom, but then they too.
This isn't that's not confirmed, right? I mean, we've heard. So this is hearsay. We're not going to.
Yeah,
we're not going to hold up in court, right?
We're not journalists. We're two idiots on a podcast. So yeah,
exactly.
We can
we know who the bigger idiot is. So that's why I'm asking these questions.
Yeah. But no, I mean, seriously, they're supposed in a traditional classroom, they're in for about half a day, but then they also, a lot of them take dual enrollment classes, which means they are going online to a college level course.
Okay.
So one cannot argue that they are getting provided a quality education. And parents, school choice is a big thing in this state, even though there's a lot of more controversial things we could talk about on it. I do believe in a parent's right to try and, if they want to provide the best, if they want to take their kids and pay $10,000-$20,000 a year, like $20,000 a year to Christ Church.
You can afford to ride on the boat, get on the boat.
I worked at Christ Church for a year. I'm telling you, it's a first class place. Some of the best teachers in the world, best facilities, whatever. I don't really appreciate public tax dollars subsidizing middle-class people to try and get a private level education.
Okay. So let's just finish this off by saying, I think we both could agree that most of these charter private institutions or whatever of learning should at the very minimum be playing on the 3A level. It's not fair to schools. I'm going to throw on the 1A and 2A level. Outlander's on 2A. It's not fair. It's really not fair on the 2A level at all.
I just want them to play whatever classification they zone for attendance. If you zone yourself if you place your school and zone yourself in Lexington, play Lexington.
Bring it on. Lexington.
Anyway.
Isn't that where is that where the what's Lexington famous for?
I don't know.
Not Lexington. Lexington. Oh darn it!
Well, let's look here.
Lexington, Kentucky, man. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Lexington, Kentucky. That's the Kentucky Derby.
That's right. We had another
a minute to find it.
We had another high school comment up here. 1A state title, according to Justin, is Christchurch versus Johnsonville. 4A Upper State, Greenville and Westside headed to overtime, tied at 35. And that kind of sparks another comment. I mean, Greenville County for years not being really lauded for their football and their competitiveness in football across the county. Greer really, for many years, the only one with sort of a pulse. But I'm telling you, football in Greenville County improving. Two teams in their respective upper state in 4A and 5A between Greenville and J.O. Mann. And
Westside is coached by Brian Lane, I do believe.
Yeah,
and
his
Brian Lane's claim to fame, I believe, is at Wofford College. Or I think. You can Google, like I say, you're Mr. Google. I think Brian Lane played at Wofford College.
Oh, look, Justin's probably out there.
I'm thinking Furman or Wofford. He might have played at Spartanburg High too. But see, I'm a relic from the past century.
You are right. Westside first-year head coach Brian Lane.
Yeah, but his collegiate career, I think it was at Wofford. Justin writes, another thing to look at when comparing the charters with traditional 2A schools like Landrum, Abbeville, etc., the percentage of athletes. Brian Lane, the former Woodruff Burns High School. That's what it was. Yeah.
And before we move on to South Carolina and Clemson, which is kind of the point of our whole podcast here tonight, is the new rule coming is basically they're going to take a big look at your bus zone and basically determine how many kids that you have that aren't serviced by your bus route and multiply that amount of kids by 3. So basically, if you have a school with 600 kids, but yet 200 of those come on their own, they're not picked up by a bus or whatever, they'll multiply those 200 by 3. So you'll have 400 traditional bus serviced and then a total of 600 from the 200 multiplied times 3 to give your total enrollment for the purposes of figuring out your classification to be 1,000.
Okay.
So, and that could be instrumental at some of our local schools as well, because there are a lot of them, especially in these rural districts and sort of out here in ours, where the kids live. I'll say it in District 1. There's a lot of kids that live in District 1, but don't necessarily go to the school that they're particularly zoned for, although it's in the same district. So you could have some numbers that really affect where Chapman and Landrum, which are the two schools that, and even Chesney. I mean, Chesney and Bowling Springs can't be affected. They're already 5A.
A lot of people don't realize this, that District 1, Spartanburg County was divided into 7 districts, I think about 1950, somewhere around there. District 1 encompasses more landmass than any. You just don't have a lot of the infrastructure. But now we're having a lot of housing boom. District 2, where I'm at, really houses going up everywhere. So the Bowling Springs High School already it's not that old. It's not even 10 years old, I don't think yet. I mean,
right.
It's just a couple of, they need more already.
Yeah.
Projected of the children that are going to move in. But in the western part of District 1 up towards Landrum, that is the western part, isn't it? Sunsets that direction. I'm going to call it the western part. A lot of growth growing up there, and a lot of houses being built, people moving in. But there's when you get into that situation where a kid may go from one school to the other, and you have 2 high schools that may compete for those athletic kids. And we have seen that kind of happen. And unfortunately, the smaller school kind of comes out on the short end. I mean, a lot of times if the kid makes a choice, I want to play on a bigger level for whatever reason, so, but the chance to play is for everybody in high school athletics. So that's the beautiful thing about it. So let's move on to something else before I ended up sticking my foot in my mouth.
You are correct. In Landrum and Chapman, you do have some of that where they are in the district, but some of them want to play for a bigger school, and vice versa.
The same thing could be said for Chesney and Bowling Springs.
Correct. And
for many years, a lot of great athletes from over, I think it's in the Foster Grove community, they would go to Chesney. And Chesney had some great teams. As we see, they got a proctor now. They've had generations of proctors over there. I can mention the great ones from the old days, the Pee Wee Reeses, the list, Jermaine Davis, and many more. These kids could have very easily went to Bowling Springs, where they lived at.
Yeah. Another comment, and we'll move on. It was from, I want to shout out one of the people I've known for a long time, Nelson Edwards. His two sons, Robbie and Christian, both were in grades around mine. And he was actually once upon a time scout leader, I think years ago. Barely remember those days.
Have something in common then, Elton.
So
Elton probably knows him then. I bet you $100 if he's a scout leader. Within the last 40 years, Elton Chapman will know him.
I might do it. Nelson asked about Brian Lane. He coached at Woodruff. Yes, he did. We coached at Woodruff and at Burns. So let's move on.
The question still was, though, I want to know where he went to high school, and I'm thinking Spartanburg High.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll get our researcher out there to.
Justin, get to work on that. Justin says the Christchurch and the Johnsonville thing. You know what I found funny about that when I looked at Justin? Elton says he knows him for sure. The good old Christchurch Fighting Christians, as I referred to them on air one night, versus the Johnsonville Brats. That could be their mascot's name, the Johnsonville Brats. You remember when we were playing Christchurch? Wasn't it? Was that who it was? My first year doing sidelines with you, and I couldn't remember what their mascot is. Spartanburg. I said Landrum 32. Then they're Christians.
The Fighting Christians. Yeah.
The Fighting Christians were coming out whooping them with like the Crusaders or something. Well, they are the Crusaders now, aren't they? That's what they are. I think that's what they are. And I didn't know they were Crusaders.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Good
well,
times,
let's move on to our coverage here of the Palmetto Bowl. Tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m., I believe, the kickoff as South Carolina hosts Clemson Tigers at Williams-Brice Stadium. Don't give us chill bumps. Yeah, no.
Make the hair on the back of your neck stand up.
As
a bug ran down that one.
This will be the 120th matchup between South Carolina and Clemson.
120th?
120th. These two teams, according to this, met for 112 straight years until COVID changed that in 2020. But this will be matchup number 120.
I bet you I know who was at matchup number 1.
Who?
Our buddy Strom Thurmond.
Oh, I bet he was.
2 weeks ago when I was down in Edgefield and we ate, me and Brent Wilkinson, we ate at a place called the Pool Hall, and they had the Big Thursday poster, the original Big Thursday poster pictured in there. And
hey, I'm getting a call in here. Let's take this here, Steve. Turn off your 2001.
Oh, I got you.
We are going to bring in live via the telephone here. He'll be representing part of our Clemson coverage, but we have here with us Mr. Elton Chapman. Elton, can you hear us?
I can indeed. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Steve, can you hear him?
Yeah, all us kids can hear him here at the Pigpen. Thank you, Elton, for giving us a call, and you give your side of the story for the crew over there in Pickens County. And
well, Roper, you said a minute ago you was playing that music and it makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Don't you mean the hair on the butt?
And here we were, Kevin, worried about our language. Kevin, wait a minute now. So I might as well let Teddy call. We should have put him on.
No, we don't want to.
Kevin's got me set up. Kevin's got me set up for things like that, but I didn't catch you in time. No, I do. I like that movie. That's what it was about. 2001: Space Odyssey. I like that movie. Now tonight, Elton, the deal is like this. Tonight, I think this season kind of proves, or let's just say, I don't say proves, but illustrates.
Yeah.
For you Clemson fans to know what it feels like to actually be a Carolina fan. You've had so many ups and downs. You've had a lot of ups and downs this season. But I want to tell you the truth, how I have handled it. Now, if you've noticed on social media, only one time this year did I talk smack about Clemson, and that was when the Dookie Doo Devils beat them. And I ruffled so many feathers. My father-in-law and bless old Sammy Bird's heart down in Chapin, and Kevin Hatton. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore because I got to look at our team. So I've watched one Carolina game this year is all I've watched. One, because I can't stand it.
There was no way I was going to talk trash. I bleed orange, as they say. I'm all in. Have been, this for I don't know, since I was probably about 6 or 7 years old.
Jim used to take us over.
But I, this year, have decided that there's no way I was going to post anything because this is one of those, like you said, this is an up and down year for the Tigers, just like it is for the Gamecocks. This one could go either way at any time. I really thought that they were going to play this one. It was going to be like a 8 o'clock a.m. game on the CW or something because neither one of them did play any later than that anywhere else.
For Pete Profanity doing the call. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here to Carolina Stadium as the Gamecock. And that's why they call him Pete Profanity. But anyway, Elton.
Well,
Elton, you mentioned this has been a season for Clemson. What I'm saying for Clemson fans is it's not what you're used to. I mean,
right.
you have been at the top of the mountain and then you slid down a little bit, but you can always go back up. So, but
we were at the top.
Roller coaster, you used that term, but with Carolina, it's a roller coaster every year after year after year. You don't know how hard it is to pull for Carolina. That's why I haven't watched them this year.
That's why you shouldn't. You should come on over to Tigerville and be a Tiger fan. I mean,
I've got
that's
all really my family lives in Pickens. My cousins live less than 20 miles from Clemson. They bleed orange that you're talking about. So I'm well represented.
Columbia, like the SO Club. I mean, we got the SO Club in Clemson. Y'all got what? The Packadoodle Booth, the bus or route? I don't know what y'all call that.
I'm gonna hold something up to the camera. I will see if you can see it. You mentioned it. SO. I went there and I stole their damn coffee cup. Oh, I'm sorry. I stole their cup. I'm going to tell you when that was. I'll tell you when that was. I don't know if you can see it here on the camera. Well, ease up, but right about. I can't see it, but let me get my hand right. Right there is a picture of Steve Tannehill and Toby Cates. It's a one-of-a-kind picture, which I took in 1993 or 94. Let me get my camera adjusted back, Kevin. But beneath it, and I'll reach back and get this. This is so cool, and people don't believe it, but it is true. Oh, I hear you, Kevin. Kevin said if I got up to watch out for the crack shots, and he almost got one. That's the year that Toby Cates' senior year, and they went over to Death Valley Memorial Stadium, and Carolina won, and I forget the score. And Tannehill did the famous golf club swing on the paw.
I think it was 94, wasn't it?
I think so. I had tickets. I had press pass tickets that year, and did not have a ticket for the Clemson game, and got in on Toby Cates' family pass. And down on the field after the game, and Tannehill's there. In this vial right here, and you can test it, that is the actual turf from the bottom of Steve Tannehill's cleats. I scraped it off of his shoes that day. Steve, please. That's down on the ground in that orange paint, and I'm scraping the grass out of his cleats, and that is one of my most prized possessions. But a lot of people wonder what that is in that tube when they see it hanging. That
wow,
awfully strange. It's Tannehill's feet.
Really do stoop low.
You better believe it. But that was a very memorable
2 counts of theft in one trip. Statute of limitations.
The thing that made it special, there was a Chapman Panther there for me, and this week there will be actually on the Carolina sidelines 2 Panthers.
3.
Andrew Corler, 3. What? Yeah. Corler, say his name, Elton. You're very well versed with Andrew. And of course, Ben Rollins is there. He's been there as a walk-on his senior year, and he has endured I don't know what you can say about the heart of this young man that wanted to be a Gamecock all of his life. And he's been a walk-on there, and he is instrumental in their practice schemes and such as this. And in a moment, I may pull up on my Gmail here. I do have a quote from Coach Beamer, but I don't want to paraphrase it. I would rather read the quote as given to me through the email, praising the value of a walk-on. And Kevin,
what's that?
While he's pulling up, Kevin, I haven't heard who you pull for yet.
Oh, it's interesting you say that. So when I was growing up, to be honest with you, I didn't really care because even though Mom was from Pickens County, she's not much into football. Dad, the most I ever knew he ever said about anything was, he had a South Carolina trash can that sat in the main walkway there for most of those years, yes. But really didn't care too much until I got into school, and there were just so many of you obnoxious, loudmouth Clemson fans that it just made me want to pull for South Carolina.
I think that's what happened to me. I think that's what happened to me. I didn't drink the Kool-Aid.
Had I been born in Columbia, I probably would have been a Clemson fan because I'd have gotten tired of hearing about them.
Now, Elton can relate to this. Because as kids, and I think I'm maybe about 7 or 8 years older than Elton. But Jim Everhart used to take all us kids over to Clemson to the ball games on a Saturday morning. And 35, 40 kids. And that was my first experience of going to Clemson games back around 1970, 71, 72. And we spent all day long sliding on the hill.
We got a comment just to break this up, and I'll finish my thought from Sherry Skinner Emery. Says, always a Gamecock, never Clemson. Yeah, that's me and Steve. But let me finish the story. So growing up, since neither one of them was too strong either way, there was part of that in high school. There was a lot more Clemson than Carolina people around. And, I do like a good underdog, and Clemson just always won, and it was always going around rubbing in our faces. But then I'll be honest with you, it was when I was in high school before we had satellite television. So because Clemson and South Carolina in those days were never that good, either one of them, neither one was on television all that much. So It was when I got
SCTV would carry them.
But the thing that really got me into it as a high school kid was when Spurrier was announced as head coach, because even though I never got to see a South Carolina or really a Clemson game, they make the rivalry game every year, but some years they didn't. Florida was on that daggum television almost every week, especially on CBS. That Fun and Gun.
I hated him. I couldn't stand him. That smirk. I couldn't stand him. I hated him as much as Clemson. I understand why Clemson people hated him. But by golly, when they hired him, I said, oh, crap, he's on my side now.
Yeah, there was and I got caught up in the excitement of all that. And I do believe if he had hired a better offensive line coach than John Hunt to start his tenure, he may have gotten something in those first few years, but
is John Hunt the one that got caught over on Main Street in Greenville?
No, that was Mangus. That was G.A. Mangus.
That's right. Well,
hey, baby, you working?
Clemson, Carolina rivalry. My wife looked over at me about, I don't know, probably about an hour ago now, and she said, just remember, after midnight, we don't speak. He's a Carolina.
I like her better.
And
that's Julie. That's something else. You tell her I might just send her a blue plate special all the way in from Hull's Hideaway Restaurant in Monterey, Virginia.
Next thing she's going to do is say, let's pretend like it's Clemson, Carolina every day.
She's sitting back here laughing over that one, guys. She thought that was funny. Hey, okay, so I know you probably got Mathis trying to call in. So
who?
we keeping him delegated to texting.
No, we'll bring him in here in a minute, but you got all the time in the world. You got the floor.
Yeah, we got all this. There's no time limit on this. One fall, a 10-minute time limit.
Facebook Live is 8-hour time limit. I just looked it up, so we're not going that long, but you got time. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, y'all know I love you, and we always pick fun. Me and Roper have been doing this for many, many, many years, going back and forth at this time of year. Roper, we just hadn't done it this year, and like I said, we both kind of know why.
Taking all the fun out of it, Elton.
Yeah,
they're taking all the fun out of it.
We both don't know what's going to happen tomorrow night, so it's kind of one of those. I think I'm just going to keep my mouth shut this year. But my prediction is, are you ready for this?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Clemson 36, South Carolina 21.
Oh.
Did y'all hear that background?
Now quieten down back there. That's not a laughing matter. That's Elton's opinion, and that's what matters. Shut up. And Elton's entitled to his opinion, and to tell you the truth, I think he's probably right. He's probably right. He is probably
well, Elton, I'll be honest with you. I mean, not to bury the lead. If it's sort of like I saw something the other day, I think someone said the magic number for Clemson to score would be 20.
That's the magic number.
20.
That's 3 possessions.
And I just from watching some of South Carolina can be good offensively. No, for the game.
They're running clock by halftime.
South Carolina's offense, versus Clemson's front 4, front 7 is what scares me. I don't know that Clemson can score 36 unless it's just, I'm looking for more of a lower scoring game than that. I'm looking for more like
turn people loose. When I said earlier this year that the team had us right where they wanted us, when we had them 3rd and 22, and I told you they've got us right where they want us.
Yeah.
That's the way Carolina is. You can hold somebody 3rd and 21. You'll give up an interference call or just turn them loose. Now, Elton loves to bash officiating, and no matter what level that they're playing, from the little leagues, high school to the college. But Elton's probably going to agree with me on this. Elton, they just call interference in these college games when it gets down to the wire and they're in the red zone. They don't let them play. They'll give somebody a cheesy call to keep a series alive. And I think that happened to Clemson a couple of weeks ago and cost them a game.
Yep. Yep, I think the officiating has gotten so sorry that it's I don't know, it's just laughable. And I think that the colleges are now getting the referees from the South Carolina High School League. So that tells you how bad that's
One day Elton's going to be walking down the street and a van's just going to pull up and out of it's going to jump a bunch of referees and just beat him down. Him and Dean.
There he is. There he is. Get him.
We have a comment here.
Just a crowd just going to get him. Hey, there's Elton. Get him.
We have a comment. We have a comment from a good buddy of mine, his former Landrum coach, said Keith Hill, who said, here to see if Tyler from Spartanburg will call in. Well, I tell you what, if he would, we'd take him. Elton, I'm going to go ahead and say that whole thing was just completely made up. Sort of like Dabo's little rant in 2011 after getting beat for the third straight time, and the reporter that he calls on just happens to be the first one to ask him about the made-up quote from Todd Ellis, or made-up quote from Spurrier that was actually Todd Ellis. It just so convenient that this guy gets through screening, gets to ask the full question without being just cut off. Seems like every time the hot seat turns up on good old Dabo,
there's the key right there.
He knows those rednecks will pull the wagons and get all in on the thing there, Steve.
He said something bad about Dabo. How dare him?
And
it worked.
Right?
It's worked both times. I'm not saying it didn't.
Absolutely it has. You know what? Believe it or not, I don't have a clue what Tyler actually said. Have no idea. I mean, I heard somebody saying something, but I don't have a clue. All I know is that they said Dabo was upset. He fired the team up, and they come out swinging. So
I think I just figured out who Tyler is. I just figured out who Tyler is, and I'm stupid for not having realized it sooner. This happened in about the same time that my son-in-law, Tyler, moved from East Carolina, North Carolina, where he's an East Carolina guy. He moved down here, and this starts already. So Tyler, my son-in-law, could be the real Tyler.
Well, the real Tyler, please stand up.
Please stand up.
I just want to know now.
They'd all give it the shimmy, shimmy, duck. I'm going to get up, but don't,
I just want to know now if Dabo's going to pull a Tommy Bowden and try and use A&M to get a pay raise. Tommy Bowden sat there about that 1 year and said, "Oh, Tommy Bowden could be hired by Arkansas." And Clemson gives him that big buyout, and then they interview this Arkansas official. It's like, "Are you considering hiring Tommy Bowden?" He's like, "Who?
No.
Who in the world is that?"
Yeah, no. Why would we do that?
I think they need to rehire Tommy West.
Yeah, bring back the West days.
And Will Muschamp as an assistant. Y'all should hire Will Muschamp. We will pay y'all to hire Will Muschamp.
Yeah, no. A rumor
to think I was excited when they hired him because you couldn't spell Muschamp without USC.
They are looking to rehire Brent Venables.
Nah, he's doing too well at Oklahoma.
I don't know. That was the rumor that we heard, or I heard.
I think if it goes south, I think you would.
Going to stick with. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
I think if it goes south, they'd absolutely welcome him back. But
Elton took my picture with Brent Venables at the Shrine Bowl game here about 3 or 4. Send that to me, Elton. I've lost it. You can send that to Kevin. If you send it to Kevin right now, he'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah, I could.
I'd have to go back and look in the archives. I don't know if I can go back that far or not.
Okay.
That's a long time ago.
It's either take the time to go back through the archives or finish off the rest of this Subway sandwich that you haven't been able to eat since we've been on the line here.
Yeah, Justin says that Oklahoma is 10-2 after their win today over TCU. So Hopefully,
can we get a three-way going here? You need to pull old Justin in here.
Well, I sent him the link just now, and I know that he wants to talk to Daddy here, and
we got to let him talk to his daddy.
Yeah,
this is going to be a reunion of the Chapman's lost son that they put. Elton lost him a long time ago, and here he comes back.
He'll be, but Elton, we appreciate you calling in. Some of our new future things, you're welcome to video in and be right on the screen with us, and we would definitely take.
Well, you know, when y'all were talking earlier, and I was sitting here watching, and y'all said something about me calling in. My wife looked at me and she said, you are going to be on the phone, not on the video, right? I said, yeah, why? And she said, thank God, because they don't want to see you right now.
Ooh.
Have you not got your makeup on?
I do not. I don't have my makeup on, and I haven't shaved in about 4 days. So
he's been taking that Chapman loss hard, Kevin.
I know it.
That second round bow out. But accumulated that along with that roller coaster ride of the Tiger season so far. See, Kevin, I was telling Kevin earlier, Elton, that one reason why I'm not stressed out is because, like I said, I did not watch any Carolina ball games this year at all because I am a jinx. And if I watch them tomorrow, which I do plan on having my buddy here who is a Clemson fan, will be here in the Pigpen watching it with me. But I am a jinx. If I turn the channel, they start losing. Check in, they seem to win or whatever, but they can. Oh yeah, it's so I'm a jinx. That plain and simple.
Well.
So I've kept my mouth shut this year, but I'm going to tell you what. Before you go,
and we have our guest standing by.
I think Clemson really just manhandles us because I do not think Carolina's defense can stop Shipley because we are horrible on run defense, in my opinion. And if you can run the ball, you win. That's all it's going to take tomorrow, running the ball.
And everybody kind of got to admit that Clemson does have a beast of a defense. I mean, they've really done well on the defense. So you've got to get by the front line into the secondary to be able to do anything. And then, Clemson's got a great secondary. So tomorrow night's going to be a fun night.
One more point to add to that though, before you go. Clemson's defense earlier in the year, if you look at what Carolina did, Rattler got sacked 9 times. Who was it against Missouri?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. North Carolina put the Tar Heel up him. Yeah, that's right. If they play like that, Clemson will sack him 15 times. There's the biggest difference right there. Yeah. The pass rush, Carolina's offensive line, and the fact that Carolina cannot stop a run. Okay, before we go, I'm going to say Clemson 31, Carolina's going to be hard pressed to manage 17 points.
Wow.
I believe it. I'm a pessimist. I go in expecting the worst and hope for the best.
I was just looking to see how many viewers that are actually on right now and watching and listening because,
probably 2, 3 counting you.
you just got disowned if it's just a bunch of Carolina fans. So
well, I'm a realist. I deal in reality. Our offensive line.
Expect the worst and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Pleasantly surprised when they do.
Offensive line, look what the offensive line has done this year. They've mixed and matched and patched and moved kids around. They ain't got a clue. And Darryl Loggins, in my opinion, has not helped a thing. But tomorrow, you'll see a difference tomorrow, maybe with some personnel. DeCarrion Joyner is going to try to have an outstanding game because this could be it for him. Rattler says he's got another year of eligibility. How many years can you play college football? Lenora Sellers sitting on the sidelines is probably going to be a Heisman Trophy winner. And if they don't get this kid in and do something, in this game, he's got to come in. And then you've got Nick Harbor at one of the wideouts, who's been used sparingly but has played excellent when called upon. You're going to see these guys more involved tomorrow. And
well, I'm thinking
try to generate some offense.
I'm thinking seriously about going to the University of South Carolina in Columbia and playing football for the next 4 years. I mean, I have 4 years of eligibility left.
Yes,
So I may go down and see if I can help them out.
You'll be trying to sell them turf material, paints and stuff for their grasses around the place. So, but Clemson is a beautiful university. If I was going to say based purely on where I was going to go to school on beauty, it would have to be Clemson. But I do have a son that will graduate pharmacy school in Carolina this coming May, so I'm awfully proud of that. So he's been a Gamecock.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, Elton, we appreciate your time tonight. We're going to bring in, after you get off here, your favorite son of Chapman High School, Mr. Justin Mathis.
I've said it to y'all individually. I haven't had a chance to actually say it on a podcast or on anywhere, kind of publicly. But I just want to thank y'all for all that y'all have done for Upstate Prepcast this year, for the Landrum football, Landrum broadcasting. We got a lot of basketball coming up, a lot of softball and baseball coming up. And I just appreciate everything that y'all have done. Been a good year so far, going to be even better year as we continue to go. And we're even going to, believe it or not, get Roper to help us with some basketball. Yes, Steve Roper.
You heard it here, folks.
Hates basketball, but he's going to help us out.
And the crowd goes wild.
Seriously, I have not called a basketball game since probably 1979.
And Elton, what are those dates, for Battle at the Border we're going to be doing next month?
Is that the one they have food?
They have good
food. For the food.
Is that the one they have a hospitality room?
Yeah.
Okay, dribbles from the left. Oh, wait, hook shot from the top corner. I just learned how to call basketball again. They've got food.
Hey, guys, I enjoyed it. Y'all have a good night. And
thank you, Elton. We love you, buddy. Thank you for the opportunity. All right, bud. All right. Go Tigers. Yeah. Did you hear what I just said?
Oh, Lord, no.
I can't believe that slipped off my tongue.
Well,
I said, go Tigers. I was talking
coming into the broadcast now as we take down that and move over here. We'll look. We don't have any more comments before we do this to add in. If anybody is still listening to us, you can make a comment down in our Facebook Live, and we'll bring your comment in as Steve hides his identity now.
I'm the shameless Gamecock fan because I just predicted them to lose.
But again, if you're out there listening, drop a comment in our in the comment section of the Facebook Live, and we'll feature it live on air. And if we know you can vouch for it and you comment on it and stuff, we can even send you a link to come in and join us. So this time,
Sherry Skinner wants you to preach at Kevin, she says. And
I was preaching about being the Gamecock.
Yeah. Bring him on in.
Now live on our podcast here in the Pigpen. This man looks like he's probably been out of the ball game tonight. We know we could keep him out. Let's see, Justin, are you there, son?
I got you loud and clear. Do you have me?
Yay!
Look at his shirt. He's wearing that Green Bay Packers shirt, Kevin.
We'll put him in the middle here.
Or is that Greenwood High School?
Get a win when you can get them this year for Green Bay. I mean, geez.
So where have you been tonight? I know you ain't been at home.
He's been at Waffle House, exit 15, conducting post-game interviews.
No, I've been over at a friend's house. We've been watching some of the Black Friday football games, NFL, college, that Iowa-Nebraska game. Yeek.
Yeah,
why do they? I've never heard it terminalized like that. It's Black Friday football. It's like,
well, that's what
they Black Friday meant for, like the sales and all that stuff going on. Don't worry, Kevin. I'm not going any further. Because he's going.
I mean, that's what they termed it for the Jets-Dolphins game, which was free on Amazon Prime this afternoon. I did not watch.
Well, since we're talking about Carolina, you're talking about that Nebraska game. You had Matt Rule, the former head coach of the Carolina Panthers, but the Nebraska offensive coordinator, former offensive coordinator of the Gamecocks, Marcus Satterfield, who that might have been one of the worst offensive performances I've ever seen out of a team today.
Tell you really feel, guys,
about Satterfield.
Yeah,
we love him along with Will Muschamp. You could put them both in you could put both of them in together between two loaves of bread, and then take two other loaves of bread and put sardines and horseradish in it. And I'd rather eat the sardines and horseradish.
I mean, you can't tell me they all tried, they all tried to keep the team spirit and keep all the things together, but you can't tell me that Satterfield called those last 3 games. I don't believe it. I'm talking last year, the way he was doing all year, something changed, something clicked, and it wasn't him.
Especially that Clemson game.
All I know is if you had the under in that Iowa-Nebraska game, you are a winner.
We have another commenter here. It says, from Jamie McBee, it says, is that the American Legion top reporter, Justin Mathis?
Yes, you better believe it is. And the kids love him.
The one and only.
You got a fan, Justin. All right. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Jamie McBee. Justin said the check is in the mail.
It's
you texted him today and told him you were going to be on.
That's your sort of boss man. I mean, he doesn't pay you anything, but he.
Oh, is that who that is? Is that the BS Journal guy?
That's
all right. Okay, that's the guy I've seen at the ball games.
I don't think he appreciates you calling it the BS Journal, but
I didn't want to. I didn't want to plug. And now, if Justin wants to plug the publication, he can. But that's why I just said the BS Journal. It's just the abbreviation of the community.
I'm right. That's right.
It's abbreviation of the community. So I don't want all the people over in Bowling Springs to get mad at me.
I hear them now.
We've done offended one of our communities. We don't want to do another.
Oh, there's 42 counties in this state. I think 42. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 42 counties in this state, or 46. I think it's 42.
That's okay. We offend everybody, but then we offend. That's what we offend ourselves even more. So go ahead, Justin.
But yeah, that James does a great job. He's the CEO, founder, chief editor.
The paterfamilias.
Yeah, he's the head honcho for the Bowling Springs Sports Journal. We got me. I mainly handle Chapman. He handles Bowling.
You're just a hunch. You're just a hunch. He's a honcho, and you're just a hunch. You're only doing one. Now, we've offered you the opportunity to expand, so we won't go there. But okay.
Continue on our continue with the hierarchy of the Bowling Springs Sports Journal there, Justin.
And Andrew Eisen, who works with us.
Eagle Eye Andy.
Yeah, he handles Chevy, but like when oh my God,
Kevin,
we all rotate and help out with each other. Like
who does?
Like say
who did you say rotates? You rotate with who?
We all rotate, like and change up. Like if someone can't be at
who does Chesney?
Who's at Chesney?
Andrew Eisen. We all do a great job. But it's a team effort to make teamwork makes the dream work. So, it's been weird having this 2-week break, like you guys alluded to at the beginning. But
it's
been weird.
After
I didn't like
it.
You
go to a ball game for 10 or 11 weeks every Friday night, but we had some great barbecue, Kevin and I, this year, and you went with. The one time that you rode with us, you went to one
Liberty.
Where did we? Yep. Yeah, we stopped in Greenville and had great barbecue at Lewis's Barbecue in Greenville. Whew, man.
I have one bone to pick with them, though. You can't call it banana pudding if there's no actual physical banana in the pudding.
And then it was pudding, Jell-O pudding.
Yeah.
I'm against
vanilla pudding.
I agree with Justin Mathis, and I have finally found common ground, ladies and gentlemen. If it ain't Granny's homemade out of the oven baked banana pudding, nanner pudding, I don't want it. Had some yesterday.
Also, to answer another question, Kevin, that you had a minute ago. I just thought about this. The dates for Battle at the Border, I want to say, are the 27th through 29th.
So you've got between that time frame to find a date? Is that what you're saying?
No. That's when the tournament's going to be played.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we all had to find a date, like it was a prom or something.
No.
Oh, to be homecoming queen.
Oh, the queen.
That's a classic.
There's another classic too that I did this year. I don't know. Kevin's got that one somewhere. Somebody was fussing about the clock continuing to run over at Chesney.
Oh,
and
I believe we can pull that up.
We got cheated like out of 30 seconds, man. It just kept running, and eventually it kind of turned the tide of the game because that led to a pass that they had him sacked. And
this should be the file here as we prove we can humiliate ourselves here.
And this was on a live broadcast, right? Yeah.
Out on the field, clock's still running. The clock's still running.
I don't think he can hear you, Steve.
Hey, the clock's still running, stupid.
I took my headphones off.
Because
we were sitting in the stands. We were sitting amongst the people, you know.
Steve, have you muted yourself?
No.
I'll reassure you this.
I'm still here.
I've lost all of you. I don't know what I did with it. There we are.
Did you lose us?
No, I muted. I turned down the volume. It's my fault. Go ahead.
Well, Steve, what I was going to say was I can reassure you this. That's not the worst thing I've heard said regarding a clock operator this year.
Yeah. I think we may
I'm leaving that alone.
I think we may have a clip of that too somewhere, but it may not be available tonight. He's searching. I think he's got that devilish look in his eye.
No.
There is rumors. There is rumors that Santa Claus will be providing the Bowling Springs crew with presents designed to equip the loud noises in the press boxes over there at Bowling Springs. So we'll have to stay tuned to our Christmas special coming out here in the next few weeks on Upstate Shorts, and we'll advertise those. We may even play that live on the air here when the time comes. But
what are you talking about, Kevin?
let's see.
You've already heard your song.
I'm trying to behave because I have thoughts, and
you have
the Lord is helping me self-control. You know, to not.
Let's see here. We had a question.
I've just always just let it slip right on out. You know, ask for forgiveness later.
Mama didn't raise no dummy.
Same as going to church. I mean, you sin all week, then you go ask for forgiveness at the end of the week. That's the way a lot of people live. I mean, I don't live that way, but a lot of people think that they can skirt through life doing it, and it doesn't work. We know that, you know.
I try and keep the list of things I have to ask forgiveness for short.
Nelson asked what teams are in the Battle at the Border. I don't think they've had an official reveal yet.
Yeah, but
one half of the Minnesota Wrecking Crew, Ole and Iron Anderson, will be coming out of retirement to take on the Polk County Pokers.
We know that Landrum boys and girls will both be there. I'm assuming Chapman boys and girls will be there.
I'm confident in saying at least one or both of them. Yeah, that would be 4 out of.
I'm pretty sure that the Blue Ridge boys will be there. I don't think the girls will be there though. Other than that,
Justin, I will compliment Justin on this. Justin is a great play-by-play man on the basketball.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Elton was teasing me a while ago about getting me to do a basketball game, because I know nothing about basketball. Maybe color, but doing the action as he does, and I've listened, there's no way. No, absolutely no way I could do such. Look at us. Now, y'all might have to fill me in. Y'all might have to fill me off. Huh?
Elton went back into the vault for that one.
I was fixing to say, y'all would have to fill me in on that one privately, probably. I think that's a private joke.
It was a baseball game, Chapman and I think Broome, and there was a foul ball, and I don't know what possessed me to do that. I followed the foul ball, because there's a little bit of dead time between pitches in baseball, and I thought the ball was about to hit the bus that the other team rode in. And I think just for whatever reason, my brain just went wee and said, "Oh, look, a bus."
So, Justin, why don't you give us the things you're looking for when it comes to Clemson, Carolina tomorrow night with a important guest? We'll remain apolitical, but there is a very important guest going to be in the stands tomorrow night. It's going to be blocking traffic a little bit. And what you got there, Steve? Your picture's a little blurry.
If you can name those Gamecocks from Gamecock history, Justin, you can leave with a parting prize tonight of $100. You got to.
Is that 12?
You got to name all three of them.
Is that number 12 front and center?
It is. They're reversed. Yeah, I'm sure they're showing up reversed on the camera, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. But
12's a gimme, okay?
Yeah, I got that one.
Okay, who'd you say it is?
Toby.
All right. The other two, and I'll give you a clue to the one. I guess it's on your left. The 33. The 33 is a product of Riverside High School, and I think that he was either
Brandon Bennett.
You got it right. Now, for coup de grace.
His son Braden is still at Coastal.
You ain't giving him no $100.
He played at one of the Christian schools that came to Landrum a couple years ago when I was doing sidelines. Remember?
Yep.
And
Braden. Yeah.
And
he St. Joe's, I think it was.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell because his daddy coached all three of them.
Yeah. and the final Gamecock, there's a defensive back legend, Tony Watkins.
Ooh.
And that handsome white guy in the middle with the hat on that you can't see.
Who is it?
That was a 32-year-old me.
Oh.
So when you going to give him $100?
He didn't guess them all.
Oh, okay.
Well, saying 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, Toby was a gimme, but the clue with Riverside gave you away with Brandon Bennett. I think I could have got.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't see the number, but you were right on it.
So, Justin, what are you looking for tomorrow night as the Gamecocks and Tigers play in their 120th matchup?
Clemson's wide receiver room is the walking wounded. Let's just call it what it is. Bo Collins was announced out earlier with a torn muscle in his foot, the plantar fasciitis. That's suboptimal.
Man, those some medical terms.
Yeah. So I mean that would mean
could have been a doctor.
I am not.
I was a doctor for a while, but I had to give it up. I just didn't have the patience.
I know enough to get me by. That would mean
next time I get sick, I'll come see you.
If Clemson's going to throw the ball, they're going to have to rely on. You would see a lot of Troy Stellato, Tyler Brown, who is a Shrine Bowler.
Troy Stellato. We got Kevin. For years, they've been getting these guys from other countries with names we couldn't pronounce. They finally went Italian. They brought a Stellato in. They got that Mumba Fumba or whatever back there running the ball. Then they've had a bunch of Okie Finokis and other names that we can't pronounce. And now we got a Sicilian toting the tater back there.
He's
gonna whack the cocks tomorrow.
Is
unintended.
Justin, all I want to know is everyone's favorite Tiger, Antonio Williams, playing tomorrow, the 2022 Gamecock MVP?
I do not believe so.
Darn. We wanted to know if he's playing. He was. Is he the guy that fumbled the punt, Kevin?
Yep.
Yes. And they're going to try some fancy stuff just to prove that they can tomorrow at some point.
Tomorrow's all-day trick plays, halfback passes. Justin, as I told Elton, my opinion is he who runs the football tomorrow wins the game. South Carolina has had trouble stopping the run. I think they're ranked maybe 17th or 20th on third downs in the SEC. Now, ACC standing wise, Clemson's way down there in some of these statistics that normally they're on top of. But, they're letting people loose on third down. They're way down in ACC with that, and third down conversions, getting off the field, over margin. and just little things of unclemsoning from what you've seen in the last couple of years. It's uncharacteristic of what we're seeing from them. But that scares me the most, because tomorrow I'm afraid to go put it all together.
And Clemson, in their win in 2021 at Williams-Brice, ran the ball 43 times.
I was
there
there.
That game.
Now, Justin, I know Steve is a historian and knows a lot of these old stories, but have you ever?
If I don't, I make it up.
Have you ever heard of the story? And even if we don't, we're just going to recite it here. It's a short synopsis of the greatest prank in Rivalry history.
I know where you're going with this.
So in 1961.
Okay, no, I haven't heard this one.
Oh, no. It's a great one.
It says here is a synopsis of it off of a website, the palmettobowl.com, actually. In 1961, the USC fraternity Sigma Nu pulled what some have called the greatest prank in the history of the rivalry. A few minutes before Clemson football players entered the field for pregame warm-ups, a group of Sigma Nu fraternity members ran onto the field, jumping up and down and cheering in football uniforms that resembled the ones worn by the Tigers. This called the Clemson band to start playing Tiger Rag, which was followed by the pranksters falling down as they attempted to do calisthenics. They would also do the football drills where guys would drop passes and miss the ball when trying to kick it. Clemson fans quickly realized that they'd been tricked, and some of them angrily ran out onto the field. However, security restored order before any blows could be exchanged. The Carolina frat boys had also acquired a sickly cow that they planned to bring out on the field during halftime to be the Clemson homecoming queen. But the cow died en route to the stadium. Carolina won the game 21-14.
And they all had hamburgers afterwards. That's a good one, wasn't it, kids?
That escalated.
Yeah.
I've heard, I have read that story, but I did not hear the part ever about the cow dying.
Me neither. I had heard the cow dying part.
That's kind of like they found out the origins of Howard's Rock. You know, that like he said, it sat in his office as a doorstop for years, and somebody gave it to him, and he came up with this fantastic idea that it came from Death Valley, the real Death Valley. That dang rock came out of a field over in Pickens County, and somebody with a plowshare turned it over in 1948 on my grandpa's farm. It's as real as that Pardo stone down there at the Chapman Culture Center is. 1592, my butt. It's fake news. Fake Pardo stone and fake rock.
Yeah.
Yep. They ought to paint it white.
Yeah. Justin,
watch them all over and rubbing it.
Did you give us your final prediction on the game?
I did not. I was just saying Clemson's big thing is you got to run the ball like you did 2 years ago. Don't overcomplicate it. Just running the football. It worked last week against North Carolina. I mean, for once, Will Shipley didn't stumble over his feet on that 30-yard touchdown run. I mean, when he put his hand down the 20, I'm like, whoop, there he goes. And then the week before that, I think it was Phil Mathis who took on the workload at running back. I think
Shipley got concussed.
Yeah. Yep, and a shot that could have been called targeting. We'll leave it at that. The week before. Direct
got a lot of Elton in him, ain't he, Kevin? Got a lot of Elton in him.
Yeah.
Them dag blame referees, they didn't call
Chapman
that.
people love to blame the referees for everything.
Well, the referees.
It was the crown of the helmet, led with the crown of the helmet, and it hit him directly around that neck area that's unprotected.
Well,
if we're going to talk,
okay, you can't lead, of course. Anytime you lead with that crown, they're going to get you. But making contact in here, but did he launch himself? Yeah,
he did.
That was the key, that he launched himself, and that's what got the penalty called, was the actual launching of his body.
The hit on Will Shipley didn't draw a flag. unfortunately.
He launched, and that's why they should have thrown the flag.
But nonetheless,
I'm trying to
those two guys.
my way out of this.
Yeah. But
Sorry, right.
Mathis
got tied up in the stand.
Have to have big games. If Clemson can run the ball, I would say around the same 40 or so times, and can get maybe combined around 175 or so. I don't know what a good yardage number would be for the running back stable, however many they're going to use. Get a couple of touchdowns. That would make me feel good about the proceedings tomorrow evening. But we've got a long time between now and then. And these are young athletes we're talking about here. So a lot of variables.
They're young in high school. These are men now. Average age 20 years old. They're old enough. They're old enough to go fight and die for their country. That's where they should be, in the military, and not playing college ball.
Valid point. But if Clemson can have success running the football, I like their chances tomorrow night.
Are you going to assign a score to us?
I was thinking around the neighborhood of 28, 10, 31, 17, that area. Tigers.
Well, hopefully it won't be Texas and Texas Tech. I've had it over here, and it's 57-7 Texas. So
I peeked at that earlier.
There was a young man in that game who got carted off. Unfortunately, he didn't look. He was moving.
I saw that, and I thought of you, Justin. I really did, because I said I knew Justin would.
Yeah, and I think Oregon was up on Oregon
Justin
State.
has a very, very, sometimes overly soft heart for the on a football field. Now the sixth one I can understand. Like
he has a very keen eye for being able to find that.
Well, yeah, he does seem to know about all the injuries that go across the state on a Friday night, and then an example there with that. But he has empathy more so than anybody I've ever met. When
he's a good boy, I tell you what, he's a fine young man. He'd make somebody a good husband.
I think part of that, Steve, comes from the fact that I never got the chance to play in high school. The Lord had a different calling on me for something else I needed to do. And I mean, even if I did play, I would have been captain of the bench warmers. Okay, I'm just calling it like it is.
Captain of the bench warmers does have its perks. You get to sit over there and watch. You're close to the cheerleaders, and you can watch them when they're performing, and you're near the water. When you're 15 years old, it's okay. I'm not saying I'm a 61-year-old man. Hey, I'm going to sit on the sidelines just like the cheerleaders. Get out from over here, you perverted Panther old relic. Now you know why they keep me confined to the press box. I'm joking, folks. Come on. If you don't have a sense of humor, you should have hung up a long time ago.
And they probably did.
Off earlier, nothing will.
And they probably did.
And I did get to go to a lot of the games when I was in school and cheer on my friends. They were out there competing. I mean, it was just fun. Since even though I couldn't play, I could still go out there and support them.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
All right, Justin. I didn't play either.
From a player's perspective, that does feel good.
I didn't play either. I played Little League until we had the first practice of about 7th grade, and we got out there and it was 95 degrees and all those pads. I was used to practicing in 50 and 60 degree weather. I said, heck with this. I ain't doing this crap no more.
And you're like, peace.
I wasn't fat boy then, but I wasn't small fry either.
Oh, me, but it's I played 1 year. The only things I've played athletic wise, 1 year of organized baseball when I was in 7th grade. I was a left-handed shortstop. Didn't make an error, so I guess I did all right.
They never hit the ball this way.
Yeah. Well, actually,
they never hit the ball my way. I didn't make an error all year.
But when they did, it was easy flip to second. I didn't have to turn my body or anything, just like an option.
Toe to slab.
Yeah. And then I played 6 years of church league basketball. Those are my athletic accomplishments, the very minute athletic accomplishments.
Well, I won't say about my athletic accomplishments. They all just are on the wall there to be seen.
I have none.
Well, guys,
I would pan the camera over to look at the Steve Roper Hall of Fame here, but I don't think our viewers want to go through all of that. See, what you do?
Oh,
you do? Got a viewer that texts, oh, please no.
Well, I think we've about ran out of time for tonight's broadcast. Anyway,
I'll be here I'm going on Facebook Live as soon as you hang up.
That's right. He will. It'll be Pigpen after dark.
It's 11:28 p.m. on a Friday night. Hey, in 32 minutes, it's officially going to be Super Saturday at the stroke of midnight.
Should have left it Big Thursday.
Yeah, but I've read why that changed and I forgot.
But anyway,
I think they should go back to that. I mean, I like that. I never saw it, but I like the idea, and it would have been a Thanksgiving Day game then, though, right? Possibly.
Yeah, it would have been. Possibly. That's kind of why they did it, I think, to let everybody be at home on Thanksgiving.
Well, now the boys ain't going to be able to play good, loaded up on all that turkey. Perhaps Clemson had enough poultry Thursday that they won't be requiring any Saturday.
That, and back in those days, all the home games were played at Carolina. They didn't play at Clemson back then. So,
as a comedian once wrote, "Turkey for me and turkey for you."
Well, he's singing. That's about time we know it's time to end our broadcast here, Steve. Justin,
if Bella Lugosi and Phyllis Diller ever had a child and put it up for adoption, I think we just found it.
Justin, thank you for joining in. We'll probably
be doing Justin.
About
every
buddy. Friday night, and
in
maybe
a Christian way.
In the future.
Okay, love you in a Christian way,
and not the fighting Christian way.
Yeah.
And
when them SCA cross upside your head, watch out.
Yep.
Justin, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Y'all have a good one.
All right. Thank you to Justin Mathis as we get ready to go away. Steve, your final thoughts on USC and Clemson before we hang up here.
Okay, now that we got all the Clemson fans out of the way and off the airways right now, I'll tell you the truth, fans. Here's the truth. Carolina's going to beat the living crap out of them, okay? The chickens down at the poultry plant in Columbia are going to go absolutely hog wild and feast on tiger tail and shrimp after the game into cockabooses. Final score tomorrow, Carolina in a big upset at Williams-Brice Stadium. Carolina 38, Clemson 27.
Yeah, if I had to give the optimist view for this game, I would say again we need to be sort of like last year was good because I do still believe that Clemson has better talent than South Carolina. It's going to take Shane.
They did last year.
Yes,
they did last year. They had us 4 and 5 stars and 3 stars beat them.
Shane's going to take a while. He's getting some kids in and got a great class lined up for this year, but it's going to take time to even that talent out, or at least narrow the gap, So I think, again, we're going to have to be able to force some turnovers, which we've not been able to do as well this year like we did last year. Our special teams are going to have to really improve. What's that punter's name? That his name is just all of a sudden eluding. Yeah, for us. Kroger. Kai Kroger, he's had a rough year. Whatever happened to him this year, it's going to have to revert because he really was the MVP of that game. Pent Clemson back deep so many times.
That could be the problem he had. Maybe he didn't handle the success so well. Sometimes, it can become a mental thing,
What scares me about as a Carolina fan is again that at times we've just not been able to run the football at all.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And the pass defense is not good enough for them to basically send 5-6 guys back and protect Rattler long enough to throw. So I think if special teams can play well, if we can force a couple of turnovers and stuff, I don't think their offense is nearly what it has been in years past. I think Cade, if we can get pressure on Cade, then maybe we can force a couple of those turnovers and stuff. But I will say my optimist viewpoint, like I said, maybe a 24-23, 24-21, 24-17 type game. And I'm hoping for the good guys, Carolina. So I think that's it. I think we've ran everybody off.
After listening to you, I have to change my mind.
Yeah, I think we finally ran everybody off. Everybody's gone to bed. So let us play that here. We are going to go on. I'm going to go on. Go ahead. Steve, are we going to try and commit to doing this every week, or are we just going to do it when we feel like it?
No, just every now and then we'll pop up. Maybe Christmas. I might let you give some basketball, high school, stand with what's going on there, bring Justin back in for that. Special occasions, just whenever we feel like coming into Pigpen, man, you know?
Yeah.
Pen's always open.
All righty. Well, for Steve Roper, this has been
I hate to make a commitment to anything. That's why I've been married twice. I just can't make commitment.
That's right. That's the reason why I never go stick to a diet, lack of commitment. But anyway, for Steve Roper, this has been Kevin Jackson. This has been In the Pigpen. We appreciate all of you watching here on Facebook Live. And we'll try and do a little more better advertisement in the future to let you know.
It takes money to run this stuff, folks. If you got a dime, send it to us.
Hey, big man, let me hold $1. Until next time, folks, these are the idiots in the Pigpen. Kevin Jackson, Steve Roper. Have a good evening.